Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple. Spurs haven't signed many players this window. Instead, they've opted for quality players with most of their career ahead of them. Giovanni Lo Celso fits this profile, but what exactly does he bring Spurs? Well, in this video we take a look at Lo Celso's tactical impact. But just quickly, if you're new around here and want to see more football videos, go ahead and hit subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, a like would be great. Feel free to drop video suggestions below as well. Now, let's get into it. In order to assess the signing, we'll look at a few key pillars: a brief history of Lo Celso, his playing style and how that will deal with Spurs' problems, a statistical comparison to other Spurs midfielders, and a potential starting 11 for next season. When doing this assessment, statistics will be used in addition to other factors, and a good place to start to get these is today's video sponsor, OneFootball, which is the best football app, so go ahead and download it through the link in the description. Lo Celso broke through with Rosario in the Argentinian league, and it wasn't long before the big clubs were sniffing around him, but eventually he ended up at PSG. When he did play there, he usually impressed, but due to a variety of factors including FFP, he ended up at Real Betis. After impressing there as well, he finally secured a move to Spurs. But how does he fix Spurs' midfield problems? Well, last season, Spurs had midfielders who were either distinctly attacking or defensive, and as a result they struggled with ball progression up the pitch. Winks and Sissoko were competent at linking the play, but in the end, Pochettino had to drop Eriksen deep to build up effectively, which reduced his presence in the danger zones. Lo Celso addresses this. Throughout his career, he has played in almost every midfield position possible, meaning that he has built a balanced skill set going backwards and forwards. But it's fair to say that he prefers going forwards. He's used to playing under an innovative manager in Setien, who used him as a forward or in a midfield 3, which he did equally well. He's also capable of playing even deeper, and for his spell at PSG, he played as the deepest lying midfielder in a side which dominated the ball. But a role as a wider central midfielder is his ideal position. From this role during build-up, he likes to drop deep towards the centre-backs, a function which Winks previously performed. He's proactive in getting the ball and looking to progress it up the pitch. At Betis, who were possession-heavy, this meant intricate build-up rather than long raking balls, with only a respectable 1.3 long balls per game. Lo Celso is a great dribbler, attempting 4 per game, which is the most in La Liga. He has respectable pace, but it's not the pace which gets him past defenders. Instead, he uses excellent close control. This means even from these deep positions, he can break free of the press and move the team up the pitch with the ball at his feet. But he also reads the game well, so if control is needed, he'll act as the metronome instead, controlling the tempo, shown by averaging over 50 passes per game despite often being played high up. Higher up the pitch, Lo Celso is a difference maker. If the center of the pitch is occupied, he moves into the half space to generate passing angles, and to try get a pass into the forwards, as he accumulated 4 assists and 0.8 key passes per game. A difference with teammate Ndombele, Lo Celso doesn't mind slow build-ups in this zone, holding on to the ball until a gap appears, whereas Ndombele would prefer to run into the space. But another strength of his is being a goal threat. He scored 9 goals in La Liga and averaged 2 shots per game, the 5th most of La Liga central midfielders, although these stats were helped by often starting as a forward. It is impressive nonetheless, as it shows when he gets into these positions, he knows what to do, as well as having a game breaker of a long range shot with his left foot. Some of this may sound like what Eriksen already does. However, one thing that differentiates him from Eriksen is his defensive contribution. When caught high up the pitch, he'll often look to counter-press after losing the ball, which he does do a fair amount, with 1.9 per game, which was the 5th most of La Liga's central midfielders. He's not afraid of tackling whether deep or higher up the pitch, as shown by his ability to play deep and his 2.1 tackles and interceptions per game. But how does he compare to the Spurs midfield? Well, from an attacking point of view, he scored the most goals and provided the 2nd most assists. He also had the most shots per game, but the goal threat stats were helped by occasionally playing up front. He did attempt and complete the most dribbles, and in fact, these stats would have had him top of the Premier League central midfielders ahead of Pogba, Silva and more. He did only average 1.3 long balls per game though, but again, position as well as Setien's love for passing football would affect this. He does shine defensively again, with the most tackles and a decent interception and dribble pass numbers. He was dispossessed a lot, so he'll have to work on this aspect of his game. So what formation will be best? A lot of this depends on whether Eriksen stays. If he does, a 4-4-2 diamond is a real option, but any formation playing Ndombele or Lo Celso deep wastes their full potential. A 4-3-3 is another possibility, or even a 4-2-3-1. There'll be plenty of minutes to go around, and Spurs have gone from a limited midfield to having great depth, so it may not be necessary to cram Ali, Lo Celso, Eriksen and Ndombele onto the pitch all at once, as minutes can be shared depending on the game. But what would your ideal lineup be? Comment it below and let's have a discussion. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.